Destiny 2 Forsaken was supposed to be the saving grace of Destiny 2. Well, did it succeed in that plan? In my opinion, well, yeah. But for some, it may have come too late. When it comes to Forsaken, this is what Destiny should have always and should continue to do, but we know they won't. So the cycle so far is they put out a base game, which is Destiny and Destiny 2, both are guilty of this, in which they are good, not fantastic, but just enough to really get you interested. Destiny 2, I do think, did it better, but then they give us lackluster DLCs that are criminally bad, especially for the price that they charge, and then the lack of content they give us. People riot, call foul, swear off Destiny forever. Then they release a mid-game DLC that's almost just as expensive as the base game, and they try to bring everyone back and fix everything, and fix all the problems that everyone was complaining about. Well, I can't lie, this formula seems to be working for them, but it does piss off the fans of Destiny. But with Forsaken, this is Destiny 2, The Taken King. So the campaign here I feel is a real selling point of Forsaken, as this campaign feels much like The Taken King as it feels like an actual campaign. Instead of an MMO just having a story because everyone expects them to and then doing a half-assed job with it. While not on a grander scale as a Taken King where everything and everyone you know was threatened in the entire universe, etc., with orcs turning everyone into space zombies, Forsaken is not a fight for the universe, but a personal fight, and that will make you question yourself. So the campaign of Forsaken has a feel of an old western revenge story. Without giving away anything that's as much as in the trailers have shown already, there is a prison break at the Prisoner Elders where you and Cait Six go to put everything back in order. While during the break we found out that Uldren Sov, who was apparently captured by Petra, has escaped. In the midst of this escape, there are the Scorn. They are fallen who have been corrupted by ether, which is their substance to live. The Scorn are essentially resurrected fallen. Uldren ends up killing Cayde with the help of the Scorn. There's like 10 of them and they're all specialists in their own way, and so after Cayde has his funeral scene and Zavala acts like a little bitch for not wanting to revenge Cayde, and as much as I dislike Ikora, she actually got some love for me for actually wanting to revenge Cayde. You go back out on the reef, which we haven't seen since Destiny 1, and go on the hunt for the Scorn and Uldren Sov. You meet Spider, who is the big Hanjo of the reef nowadays, who is a fallen who is obsessed with Guardians and Earth before it fell. What I love about Forsaken is you were actually hunting down all of the Scorn. They all have their unique abilities and personalities. Even though they are pretty much the same as each other as they taunt you about how they killed Cayde, I won't lie though, it did piss me off. Cause, you know, Cayde's like the only likable character in Destiny. From a mad bomber, mad scientist, a pike gang leader to a sniper and others, you have to battle them in their own arena where they have advantage. You have to take them out one by one and work on your way to Uldren Sov to avenge Cayde. What I like about the story is it really makes you question if what you're doing is right. Are you on the side of good? Are you on the side of bad? There are a lot of moments that make you think about your actions. The dilemma of revenge and if revenge is the best course of action. But we're talking about Cayde here, so fuck yeah, boy. All in all, I will say the ending threw me for a fucking loop, but I guess it would all make sense in the future with the upcoming raid. But honestly, I felt that the campaign, while not on a grander scale as The Taken King, did an amazing job at making me feel a purpose and reason behind my actions. And question on which side of the light my Guardian was really on. With introducing the Scorn, an enemy that in my opinion is really fun to fight, and the Specialists, who were all lengthy and well planned out boss fights, but I must say I think Bungie killed it with the campaign. Clocking in around maybe 6, 7 to 8 hours, because of course there will be sections where you'll need to grind, I thought it was pretty perfect. Other than the lack of Cayde except for being in the beginning, his presence is really missed, and I feel that Bungie did this on purpose to make you think of him throughout your tale of revenge. Zavala and Ikora take a backseat to other characters, which I think are great additions, and honestly I can't wait to see more of, but Cayde definitely was missed. After your tale of revenge is complete, there's a sense of what have I done, as everything you have put yourself through, you felt motivated to do, to revenge your fallen comrade. But once you finish, this doesn't bring back Cayde, even though you felt right in your journey, and due to Uldren and Scorn, what they did to you and make them pay, but in the end you realize that it's kind of all in vain. None of this brings Cayde back. And I thought as I sat there after giving all of those who I felt rightfully to be disposed of, Cayde, my friend, was still gone. I must admit the story does a great job of making you feel some things, and I loved it. Forsaken's other big thing to bring to the table is Gambit, and I don't know why every time I hear Gambit, I always think of Gambit from X-Men.
The name is Gambit. Remember it.
Gambit, not the first game mode to ever do something like this, but it is PvP and PvE mode all kind of wrapped up into one. A total of 4 Guardians start out taunting one another, and then you're set loose to kill a selected enemy type and earn motes. Motes are dropped by killing enemies and then deposited into a bank in the center of your map. Bigger enemies drop more motes, and the more motes you collect you can drop into the bank at once that will send a blocker to the enemy's side, from small, medium to large blockers. These blockers shut down the enemy's bank and they must be disposed of before the enemy team can deposit more motes. The big risk with holding on to so many motes to drop a large blocker onto the enemy side is if you are killed, you lose all of your motes, which can be a big payoff or a big risk, because dying when you have 10 to 15 motes on you is one hell of a frustrating feeling as you took so much time to earn them. When depositing motes, it's up to you or the enemy team to reach 75 motes first. Once 75 motes have been deposited, you or the enemy team will get a primeval. If you launch your primeval first or them, the objective is to kill the primeval. Killing the primeval will make you win. To spice things up, there's a portal on your side and the enemy side that opens up, and one player can come over and cause havoc and kill your team and vice versa. The only way to be detected while on the other side is on a radar or by sight. So when an enemy is on your side, you have to be very cautious as they can be hard to spot. They can also again take away your motes, and so if your primeval is out and they kill you, your death refills the primeval's health. On the other hand, going over to the enemy side and getting kills is a damn good feeling, knowing you're causing them trouble. Gambit is a lot of fun and very frustrating when you screw up and lose your team's motes. Losing a big amount can really screw over your team. Not working together also is a death sentence. But all in all, Gambit is a very welcome mode into Destiny, and I've had a blast playing it. I love PvP and I love PvE, and when it comes to Destiny, putting those two together was a great idea. Speaking of PvP, I do have some gripes with the Crucible. Crucible nowadays just seems like it's on mayhem mode. When Destiny 2 came out, there was a lot more slower pace than Destiny 1, and you really had to rely on your gun skill and aiming. You may have got your super up once a match, but nowadays supers are flying all over the place, abilities, and destroying everyone, and I feel that when you get an old school shootout nowadays, it's gone the way of the dinosaur. And I would suppose that if you're playing Destiny, this is kind of what you want, but I feel that it's going overboard with the supers and abilities. I don't mind Mayhem mode, which in that mode, supers are going all over the place, abilities are flying all over the place like crazy, and they're easily accessible as they build up very quickly. But when you just had to rely on your gun and your aiming skills, that's when I had a lot more fun. Nowadays, I can't turn a corner without someone killing me with a super ability, and it's really frustrating. And to add to the chaos, it used to be 5v5, and now it's 6v6. That extra man in there also makes the maps feel way more crowded. And on top of that, weapon placement has changed where you can now hold a shotgun in your primary and secondary place along with a sniper rifle. So people are basically running around with shotguns like crazy nowadays. You most of the time can't get off a shot, they basically just run up in your face and pop it off. Maybe I'll come around to liking it in the future, but I wish there was just a mode for some of us who don't get satisfied with pressing 2 buttons to launch a super and get 4 kills in a go with it. Don't get me wrong, those feelings are great, but that's the only way you get kills is really not a fun way to play to me. I like to hunt with my weapon and rely on my aiming skills. Also, even after all this time, I'm glad Crucible has given us options on what we want to play. However, you still can't pick between playing zones and straight up deathmatch, which I feel after all this time, why the hell not? All in all, Crucible has been very frustrating for me and not enjoyable as it was when Destiny 2 was released. But I feel this is what people wanted. I've seen positive marks more than negative from folks when it comes to Crucible. Everyone loves how crazy it's become with all these superpowers and stuff flying all over the place. And I know they can't please everyone. I know they have to please the masses, and if this is what you want from Crucible, then more power to you. I just prefer a different playstyle, and if Bungie could throw in a game mode for those of us who really like this kind of playstyle, I would be forever grateful. But even still, nowadays there's so many different weapon types, you never know who's got what, and I've seen that the new hand cannon Ace of Spades is a monster in PvP. 2 shots period and you're pretty much dead. So that can also be frustrating that you don't know what weapon everyone has until it's too late. I know it's part of the game and Crucible, but still, there is still fun to be had in Crucible. I just prefer the way it was to the way it is now. So we got some new strikes. They're good. Nothing much I can honestly say about them. They're strikes. Nothing really to write home about. With the exception of Warden of Nothing. That one is really cool. That one's a throwback to like the Prison of Elders and shit. And I gotta say, that strike was very well done. Really gave some nostalgia feels of Destiny 1. I thought that one was probably the best one out of all of them. But the other ones are pretty average. If you go into the rotation part, you're not going to see them. You're pretty much just going to see the ones you've been playing all along anyway. But now you can actually select them off the map, which is a great idea. I don't know why they always wait to the mid DLC to be able to do this, but now you can actually select which strike you prefer to do. But again, strikes are new. There's 3 of them, and they're okay. They're fun. Nothing crazy or groundbreaking though. Forsaken, I think, has done what it planned on doing, and what it wanted the Taken King to do. Please the fans who were upset, bring back players who left, and really shake up things a bit. Adding new supers in which you get 1 item added to each character per week, I think is a good idea and a really frustrating one. It's going to ensure players keep coming back each week to build up their new super, but I do hate it as well because I want all of my shit now. But I get the idea. It does make sense and honestly has me anticipating Tuesday's reset. Another positive aspect is now you have daily missions and daily activities. As before, you had your weekly missions and weekly objectives, and when you were done, you were done. I love that now every time I sign in every day, I have something to do that helps me up my light level. Instead of how it used to be is you had your objectives for 1 week, you blow through those, and you have nothing to do for the rest of the week. I thought for them to kill off Cayde 6 was pretty ballsy, and they must be doing something big. And maybe that was just to get people interested, and I'm pretty sure that's what the reason person was. But as killing Cayde was a risky move, I have to give them respect for it. I just hope they didn't commit suicide with this, as Cayde is really the biggest part of Destiny and most people's favorite character. Just like how I said the end of the campaign was, I think it's a great way to describe Forsaken. It was a great story, but no matter how great a setup and the story was, and the drive it gives you, Cayde is gone and he's not coming back. What now? And I must say, if they bring back Cayde 6 as Cayde 7 or some shit like that, I'm going to fucking lose it, as my journey would have meant nothing. And at this point, honestly, you don't know where Bungie's going with any of this stuff, but I really hope that's not the road they decide to go down. I will say this was a great step in the right direction. I'm really glad to be back playing Destiny and enjoying myself. We will have to wait till next week to see what the raid in the Dreaming City is all about, but honestly, I can't wait. This is the reason to come back to Destiny. The grind is all real, it's still here, it's never going to change, but I think there's enough to keep people happy, at least for a while, that is. Destiny 2 The Forsaken is a solid entry, and I think it's well worth your time. So anyway, this is Kamikaze Soundwaves. Much obliged for coming by, checking out the video. I appreciate it, and I will see you over in the next one. Later.